Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got your Week 10 start and sit video for the running back position. If you guys haven't already, make sure you check out our waiver wire video, and of course our start and sit video for the quarterback position. We're about, 4 to 5 weeks before the playoffs start, so there are a lot of important games every single week for the rest of the season, and hopefully you guys are in position to get into the playoffs for this season. Now, there are 4 teams on a bye. You've got the Dolphins, you got the Rams, Eagles, and Chiefs. So again, some players to account for. And of course, injuries across the league has always been something you've got to deal with. So again, that waiver wire video is very important of players you may want to pick up. Now, if you guys are in the last week or so in trades, hit us up in the comments down below. We'd love to give you some suggestions and hopefully some good advice to help you with some trades this upcoming week. Again, to solidify and really get your team ready for the playoffs. Now, these are your obvious running backs that you should be putting in your lineup. Again, whether it be matchup proof or they're just getting fed so many touches that they are going to get you a good amount of points. So again, these are your obvious running backs. Now, the first running back I'm going to mention as a good start, it's going to be Breece Hall versus the Raiders. I know the Jets offense is horrendous. They're not great. And a lot of it obviously is based off of Zach Wilson. Like, I get it. Zach Wilson is not the guy. Jets have not really tried to even change that for their fans and their team, even though they have a chance to possibly still squeak into the playoffs with how the AFC East has played out. With that said, though, Breece Hall has been actually really good again. His average carry is super high, and he's got a great matchup going against the Raiders, who are allowing 138 yards on the ground and allowing 23.8 points in the last 4 games in that matchup. So realistically, Raiders have Aiden O'Connell at quarterback. You've got Zach Wilson at quarterback. This is not a game that a lot of people are looking for explosiveness. This is going to be a game between Breece Hall and Josh Jacobs, and obviously Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. Like, that's really the biggest matchups that you're going to see. And I think with the Jets defense playing outstanding, they did a really good job against the Chargers. I think this could be a game where the script is perfect for Breece to have a really successful week. Another running back I like is going to be Bijan Robinson versus the Cardinals. We're not going to talk about Bijan too much, but I want to mention Bijan because this is the matchup that he has to have a good game. Like, he has to. Like, at this point, I get it. Like, if Arthur Smith gets his stupid, dumb fantasy whole football mindset out of his head and actually focusing on the X's and O's and what this team is capable of, like, the Falcons could make the playoffs. But it's not going to get any better for them unless they use their talented players. Don't get me wrong. Still use Algier. Great back. He did phenomenal last year. Use Jonnu Smith. He has done great, right? Use your weapons, but stop putting Bijan in situations where he's not going to succeed. And of course, as a fantasy owner who's got him in a few leagues, and I'm sure like a lot of you, you're at that point, you're just kind of frustrated. You don't want to drop him because there's always that what if scenario. Like, he's so talented that if you drop him, that's going to be when he does well. And this is a game that I feel like he's got to have some success. Like, if Arthur Smith truly uses him properly, he's going against a Cardinals team that is allowing 21.6 points a game. They're allowing a touchdown per game. Like, this is the matchup. So again, you're probably starting him anyways. I just feel a little bit more confident because of the matchup. I like him this week. Another running back I like this week is going to be Tony Pollard versus the Giants. Pollard himself has not played very well this season, but this is the matchup he really needs. He's going against the Giants, who are allowing 21 points a game in the last 2 games. They're also, realistically, the start of the season, Pollard had 2 touchdowns. That game had 22 points. Like, he had a really good game that first game of the season. But he's kind of gone downhill. A lot of it has to do with the fact that this offense has changed. The offense is definitely increasing more into Dak. He's taking a lot more control. They're pushing a lot more into CeeDee Lamb's, obviously, hands, and Ferguson. And like, so the offense has changed a little bit. Part of it's just the game scripts and part of it's the matchups. But I like this matchup for Pollard. I think the Cowboys are going to be up pretty big against the Giants. At least that's the expectation. So the game scripts can be perfect for Pollard to have a really good performance. I like him this week. Another running back, and last one I'm going to mention, is Kenneth Walker versus the Commanders. Walker has not been great like Pollard. He has been just right? Like, the game scripts have been taking him out. He is not a receiving back that everyone really kind of needs to be that third down guy. He is losing some of those snaps to Charbonnet. And because of that, Walker's just looked very average, even though he started off the season hot, like super hot. He was averaging about 17 points a game. Now he's averaging about 14 points a game. But the matchup's pretty good going against Commanders. They're allowing 116 yards a game on the ground. The last 4 games alone, they've allowed 17 points per game. So realistically, the matchup's perfect for him to get into control, get really back into this where he's going to get force-fed, plenty of touches, 15 to 18 touches on the ground, maybe a reception or 2 and then a touchdown. That's the expectation for him this week. Now, as far as running backs, I'm going to sit Chuba Hubbard. You're probably sitting him anyways, but I understand the entice matchup of going against the Bears. But realistically, the Bears are pretty good. They're surprisingly really good against the run. They're only allowing 79 yards on the ground. They're also holding really the backs to 3.2 yards per carry. Their 2 linebackers are really good. TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds. That signing was really big for them. And now you add Montez Sweat, I'm curious how that's going to play out. So they're really trying to fortify this defense and really kind of going that way when it comes to this rebuild. So this is a matchup I'm a little nervous with Chuba, and Chuba did not look great, really kind of being the RB1, really officially announced this past week. And I could see where he loses this job to Miles Sanders back because his inefficient, he's just not doing well. I'm really gonna just don't start him, please. I get if you're desperate, just put Chuba on your bench. Gus Edwards is another running back I'm not feeling 100% confident going against the Browns. Gus Bus has been on fire, but he's going against a brick wall this week. The Browns have been really good. Gus had only a 7-point performance last time they played each other. And realistically, that whole lineup as far as backs did not do well. Gus is a red zone threat. He's been a touchdown machine, and that's really where his value really is. So depending on how this game plays out, maybe he gets near the red zone and gets that touchdown to help give you a double-digit performance, but I'm not too excited for this one. The Browns are holding backs to 10 points a game. They're only keeping them to 75 yards as well on the ground. This is a really tough matchup for Edwards. I think this is going to be a game that's going to be really between Deshaun and Lamar as far as who's going to be the better quarterback, which, I'm leaning a little bit more towards Lamar. But that's the kind of matchup I think Gus should be sitting. Just like I think Jerome Ford should be sitting this week based off of this matchup. The Ravens are really good against the back, right? They're stopping running backs. They're holding them to 9.5 points a game. And realistically, Ford is still losing some touches to Hunt. Not a whole lot. Ford is definitely the clear RB1, but this matchup is definitely a struggle. This is where I think the last outing he had was 5 receptions that gave him close to double-digit performance. On the ground, I think he only had 26 yards or something like that. So realistically, depending on, again, how this matchup plays out, I think this is going to be a game, again, between the 2 quarterbacks. I think Lamar and Deshaun are going to be the ones who determine how this plays out. It's not going to be the running game. Both defenses are really good when it comes to against the run. I give the edge a little bit more to the Browns because I think the Browns defense is a lot better than the Ravens. But this is one, if I can, I'm sitting both running backs. If you're between the 2, if you have both of them and you're kind of trying to figure that out, I do give Ford a little bit more of an edge because of his receiving capability. Now, the last running back I'm going to sit this week is going to be Derrick Henry versus the Buccaneers. In the last 4 games, Bucs have actually only allowed an average of 8.3 points a game to running backs, which is fantastic. They've also have not allowed a rushing touchdown this season. They've allowed 1 receiving touchdown, but that's it. They are playing fantastic against the run. Levante David, Devin White, these linebackers are getting after it. Vita Vea is still there, who's just plugging up the holes. This is a tough matchup, and Derrick Henry is going to be relied on, obviously, because Will Levis was officially announced the starting quarterback for the rest of the season at this point. So with that said, Levis is still going to he's still learning. He's trying to figure things out. They're going to try to rely on Derrick Henry, but the focal point is the Bucs are going to stop Derrick and try to have Will Levis beat them. So realistically, again, I think they're going to keep Derrick Henry under about 70 yards. I don't think he's going to hit double digits this week. I'm going to sit him. Now, my sleeper of the week is going to be Javonte Williams versus the Bills. Javonte is definitely a back that I have really see a huge increase. So again, somebody you should be buying as soon as you can if this is your last week for trades. Coming off a bye is big. It's going to be huge for them. I actually like this game both for the Broncos and this Bills. I think Broncos actually upset the Bills this week because the Bills I don't think are that good of a team. And a lot of it's really defensively. Losing Milano was huge. And that is where you're seeing that. Because Milano's been out, the Bills are allowing 114 yards on the ground, almost 5 yards a carry as well. And then on top of that, the last 2 games alone, they're allowing 17 points a game. And I think this is going to be a game Javonte has that 15 to 18 point performance. I think he's going to do really well. He's going to look efficient. He's going to get maybe a couple 2 to 3 receptions. I like the 18-point kind of range for Javonte. He's definitely my sleeper of the week. So those are my start, sits, and sleepers for week 10. If you guys do have questions, hit us up in the comments down below. Make sure you guys check out our other start and sit videos. And of course, hit that waiver wire video as well while you're at it, in case you guys are still trying to figure out some players you should be grabbing. If you have any trades or lineup questions, hit us in the comments. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and the like button while you're there. And I'll check you guys out next time.